Welcome to today's presentation. Today we are going to look at application of sine and cosine rules. The question you have here reads, in the figure below, ABCD represents a farm in which AB is equal to AD, which is equal to 72 meters, and BC is 120 meters. Angle DAB is a right angle, and angle ABC is 125 degrees. So we have the diagram as shown. Then part A of the question, calculate correct to one decimal place the length of DC for Roman 1, then Roman 2, the size of angle BCD, and finally for part B, find the area of the farm in hectares. So straight to the first part, A Roman 1, we have to determine the length of DC. DC is right here. Well, before we determine the size of DC, the first thing I want us to determine is length BD. So we'll determine length BD by applying Pythagoras theorem. Remember, we're going to consider triangle ABD, which is a right angle triangle, and therefore BD is obtained as the square root of 72 squared plus 72 squared, that is base squared plus height squared. So 72 squared plus 72 squared. Now this should be the square root of 10,368. This should result to 101.8 meters. So that means the length BD is 101.8 meters. So with the length BD, we can again determine the size of this angle, and we are going to reason that if this is an isosceles triangle, because this side AD and AB are equal, then the angle here should be 45 and here too should be 45, because at point A we have a right angle. So if the angle here is 45 and the whole of this angle is 125, that means what remains here is 80 degrees. That is 125 minus 45. Now, the next thing is to consider triangle BCD. Now, when you consider triangle BCD, we can label this side B because it's opposite angle B for triangle BCD. So, I'm doing this so that we may be able to use cosine rule. And in order to use cosine rule, we can say, that is considering triangle BCD, we can say B squared is equal to the square of 101.8 plus this other side 120 squared minus twice the product of the two sides, that is 101.8 and 120. That is 120 cosine of 80 degrees. Now remember, we are to use the two sides with an included angle. So when you consider the two sides, the included angle is 80 degrees. So that's why we're using it. And the angle here is angle B, which is opposite side B. So from this, when we work it out, we'll be able to get B squared as 24,763.24 minus, so when you work out this part, we get 4,242.57. When you subtract this, b squared becomes 20,520.668, of which b becomes, so find the square root of 20,520.668. This should be 143.3 meters. That is correct to 1 decimal place. Remember, b is DC, which is required in the question. So for Roman 2, we are required to determine the size of angle BCD. That is BCD, this angle right here. So in part 2, we are going to apply sine rule. Remember, we can say this side, which is C, side C over sine of the angle C, that is C over sine C, should be equal to B over sine B. Now, C is this side here, which is 101.8. 101.8 over sine C, of which we are looking for angle C. And then we equate that to B. The size of B we already have as 143.3 meters. So we have 143.3 all divided by sine of B, and angle B is 80 degrees. So cross multiplying, we'll have sine of C being equal to, so we have 101.8 times sine 80, and then we'll have to divide all through by 143.3. And this means when you work out this, you'll be able to get 0.6996. And then from here, we can therefore get C. C is the sine inverse of 0.6996, and angle C is therefore 44.4 degrees. That is correct to 1 decimal place. Finally, we have to find the area of the farm in hectares. In order to determine the area of the farm, we have to divide the whole of this figure into two triangles. We have triangle ABD and triangle BCD. Now for triangle ABD, we will use a half base times height, and for triangle BCD, we'll use the sine formula, that is a half AB sine theta. So we are going to say for this first triangle, a half the base times height, that is a half 72 times 72, so that we have the area being a half times 72 times 72, and then we'll add that to the area of the other triangle, that is triangle BCD, which is a half AB. So let's consider these two sides, a half the product of these two sides times sine of the included angle. So that is a half times 101.8 times 120 sine of 80 degrees. For this first part, when you work it out from my calculator, I'm able to get 2,592. And then for the second part, I'm getting 6,015.2. So when you add, we get 8,607.2 square meters. But we need to note 10,000 square meters should be equivalent to 1 hectare. and therefore the 8,607.2 square meters should be what? So cross multiplying, we will have 8,607.2 divided by 10,000, and this finally should give us 0.86072 hectares. And that is it for this question. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.